Hey guys, it's Rusty Nelson, your college art professor, and we are talking watercolor today. Yeah, I'm back in my studio after about 2 weeks out there, so I'm a bit rusty, no pun intended, on shooting videos. Didn't have a chance to shoot anything while I was back home in Kansas, just dealing with some family issues. Nothing major, but just trying to be helpful for my daughter and my grandkids. Yeah, they had some grandpa time this last couple of weeks, more so than they probably wanted. Let's see here. What are we doing on this channel? If you're new to this channel, this is a channel dedicated to getting people up and running with a creative journey, especially those people approaching, maybe in a mid-career thing. They're needing some outlet, some creative outlet, maybe returning to doing creative things. They might have done it earlier in a previous life as they were growing up, or just getting started. They just haven't had a chance to continue it, but they're coming back to it. Or even those people who are approaching retirement, in retirement, getting out there and doing something creative, something constructive, keeping those synapses firing in the brain so that you'll have a good, healthy, long retirement. And that's where I'm coming from. I'm about to retire. Everybody who's watched this channel already has heard this story time and time again, but that's what I'm hoping to do, is to get people some of the information that they're really craving and maybe never had a chance to experience in a formal setting, in an educational setting. So I'm putting the things that I use and that I teach up at the university with my foundation drawing courses, my intro to watercolor, intro to drawing, and my design courses. I'm bringing those things that I do up at the university, those courses and the skill sets that I've developed over 28 years working in higher education, and getting kids maybe who haven't really had a lot of experience with being creative. We see tons and tons of these 18 to 22-year-olds coming into the program, and they really didn't do that much visual creativity in high school. They were maybe involved with sports and band and other things. Band, they always kind of set it opposite to the art courses, so there's always an either or choice that they have to make in high school, and a lot of times art classes are losing out to joining and participating in band. But we get them, they come into the program, and we run them through our foundation courses. Basic fundamental drawing skills. Our first level of drawing is observational drawing. That's where we're doing a lot of really close observation, learning how to see out in the 3D environment and translating that to a 2D plane. And that's a very important skill set, just really teaching them how to see and observe and then translate what they're seeing onto a piece of paper using some sort of medium, a graphite, a charcoal, a Conte crayon, ink, watercolor, a whole host of media that we run them through in our foundation drawing course. Our second layer into drawing would then be figure drawing, where we're taking those skills, those observational skills we learned in that first level drawing course, and apply it to figure drawing. Figure drawing is a much more compound and complex skill set to develop, and I've been teaching that for the last 15, 20 years up at the university as well, and have developed some pretty reliable processes for getting students up and off the ground and able to draw the figure. So, and then we also have intro to watercolor. I teach illustration as well. And in the last 25 years, I always had a traditional component of illustration where we're doing gouache or watercolor in that course. But in the time frame that I've been in higher education, it has gone from traditional illustration into digital illustration, where we're working on tablets, iPads, or graphics tablets connected to computers. So there's a whole different skill set there between traditional media and then the digital media. So hopefully I'll be doing some tutorials on some digital painting as well. As always, I'm always running to stay about 2 or 3 weeks ahead of my students each semester. So It's kind of fun because I'm always challenged to be learning and coming up with new skills that the students should know about and be able to accomplish so that they'll be productive and employable. And I teach in a graphic design program, so it is one of our key components is to make them uh, productive, efficient, and employable by the time they graduate. So that's always one of our main goals as graphic designers, to have something to do. So I'm glad you're here and I'm glad you're watching. I do have some comments that I want to address. Some people have dropped some nice comments on there. Some of the main things, really just the post that I had put out there on the community tab on YouTube, letting people know that I wasn't going to be able to post this last week. That they're very gracious. Thank you very much for giving me a little breathing room and to alleviate the guilt for not producing videos for about 12, 14 days. So thank you very much for cutting me some slack on that. Had some encouragement from a viewer about keep doing what I'm doing. They like what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. So thank you there. I do feel like I'm on the right path. I'm also doing this talking watercolor as a means to continue practicing screen presence, interacting with that camera and being on screen, and then hopefully developing the ability to speak off the top of my head and impart relevant information to everybody. And I keep a 15-minute time span roughly on these talking head videos. I just saw a video. I watch a lot of YouTube videos on producing YouTube and listen to podcasts and stuff like that as well. And I've been tagging these talking head videos as podcasts and vlogs, but I guess come to find out vlogs isn't really the appropriate tag for what I'm doing here. Podcasts, it works all right, but vlogs are more of a taking viewers on a journey, and I definitely intend to do that. Once I get retired and I have a little more time on my hand. Definitely I want to go out and explore and take you guys on a journey of the Midwest as I roam around Kansas and Missouri to find watercolor subjects or subjects to be able to draw and do plein air stuff. So ultimately that vlog will evolve into the appropriate type of content for it. But right now I'm still tagging and putting it these talking head videos into the category of podcasts and vlogs on my YouTube channel. So hopefully everything continues to evolve and get better. And again, I've been promising for at least almost 7 months. Well, it is 7 months now, trying to get some prep work set up for doing a live stream, and that's coming soon. If I can just get everything to calm down a little bit. I've been learning software for probably about 3 or 4 months, and I do have a good handle on the software and some new hardware that will help me do the podcast. So I just need to figure out a good time to reliably do it, so it's a consistent component that my Patreon members get first shot. If they're a paid Patreon member, they can come into the podcast and watch and interact with me, ask questions and things like that. And then later the actual live stream will probably post on my channel maybe a week or so later. So anyway, so everybody else can watch. That's the plan. I just need to get started doing it now. I think I do have a handle on everything and can start doing it. So I'm just, I was going to get it started this summer, earlier in the summer, but my summer kind of blew up on me and it got away from me. Also, I am working on some syllabi that I'm going to be posting and setting out on the Gumroad. So if you want a little more of a structured means of going through the content that I already have out on my channel, you can kind of use this little syllabus to kind of give you a working semester's worth of content to practice and work on. It's really everything I've been doing on the channel is pretty much what I do with my students in the class, the type of subjects and things that they work on a weekly basis. In a college situation, they're in class typically 6 hours a week, and then they have an expectation for at least an hour outside of class, if not 2 hours outside of class, for roughly 180 hours throughout the course of the semester. So that's kind of where I'm at. That's what I've been doing. Let's see here. I do have a really good comment from a viewer asking about maybe a video or me addressing, how do you overcome the fear factor? And I do remember that aspect, when I was in college and trying to get something, because students have a grade component that really kind of freezes them up as well. But even without the grade component, you're staring at that great big scary white piece of paper, and that any mark you make is going to it may not be what you had envisioned, right? So learning how to control the fear of getting started and overcoming analysis paralysis, I think, is also a key component to it as well. So, the best thing you can do is just do a lot of things. It doesn't matter. I think a lot of people get paralyzed in thinking that they have to have the perfect subject matter to do. And one of the best tips I think I ever got was when you don't know what to do anything. So it doesn't matter what you're doing as long as you're observing something and trying to get it translated onto your piece of paper in whatever medium you have decided to work in. So don't think it has to be that perfect composition, that perfect lighting and all that. You're really just testing your ability to see, observe, and translate that, and make a creative, interesting, a character mark on the paper with whatever medium you're using. So you don't want real tight, constipated marks, and you don't want real loosey-goosey, sketchy, I was going to say uninspired, but that's not the right word either. But marks that have no intent, right? You've got to have an intent to the mark you're making, and then have the character come through in that mark. So all of that takes a lot of time and a lot of practice, and that's why it just get in there and make some marks, draw something. It can be anything. Wherever you're sitting, have a sketch pad with you, with either a pencil or an ink pen, and just sketch it, doodle it, and figure out what you're doing. Everything you're looking at is going to be in perspective in some manner, no matter what it is, an object, a scene, a person, all of those things you just have to figure out. You just have to learn to see it, observe it, and translate it to the paper. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at. I do have another comment. Somebody wants to kind of have a demo, the differences between gouache and watercolor. I can definitely do that. I haven't really done a lot of gouache in the last 10 years, but that was my primary medium I worked in for about 25 years. So it'll be nice to kind of get my gouache set back out, and I can kind of show you the differences between gouache and watercolor. And ultimately, I do know that as I was transitioning over to working with transparent watercolors exclusively, I was working with gouache, and it was just becoming more and more of a watercolor type approach to using gouache. So gouache is very, very flexible. You can work with gouache and paint with gouache just like you do an acrylic or an oil paint, mixing it with white and all of that, and doing all that real dabby and blending stuff with gouache, just like you do with oil and acrylic. But it also has the flexibility to come in and work in a very wash manner and create some really lovely watercolor effects. The cool thing about that, especially if you're working in an oil and acrylic method, that where oil and acrylic dry into a solid film, you can't reactivate it. With gouache, you can reactivate it. And the really cool thing about gouache as well, I typically would work with it on an illustration board, and I had a couple various techniques that I worked with, but you can scrub it, you can reactivate it, and push it around, and it dries flat. There's no sheen to it at all. So if you were going to be taking photos, that's why graphic designers use gouache so much, is because the surface of it has no reflective qualities to it. It does not have a shininess to it, so you can shoot and photograph the artwork and it looks great that way. So anyway, that's kind of some of the things we'll be doing, and hopefully I'll put those things together and they'll be up there in the next few weeks. And probably in the next 3 weeks, as I get started with my summer class with my 7th, 8th, and 9th graders, I'm teaching an beginning animation course, crushing budding animation ambitions by just simply showing students how much work animation takes. I will try to get at least another couple of talking head videos out there, some talking watercolors shot, and if I'm lucky, maybe on the weekends I can get at least one tutorial done and posted during these next 3 weeks. And then I can come back and start focusing and getting a drawing and a watercolor tutorial along with the talking watercolor going once these 3 weeks are over. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at. I have no idea. I forgot to start my clock, so I have no idea how long I've talked. So hey, I hope you did get some value out of this talking watercolor today. And if you did, please give me a like and hit the subscribe button. It truly does help. Draw me some comments. Again, I really do like the comments. They give me good ideas for things I can do for tutorials and information I can get out there for everybody who's learning and working on their creative journey. So do that. Head over to my video descriptions. I have a whole host of things that I like working with: supplies, pencils, pens, papers, watercolor brushes, all that stuff. And if you're really into figure drawing and drawing people, I have 2 great Loomis method, and these are Library of Congress old copies of the Drawing for All It's Worth, Figure Drawing for All It's Worth, and Drawing Heads and Hands by Andrew Loomis. I also have some Bridgman reference materials out there as well. Head into the description, click on the link, go over to my website and download things. They're free. You can drop me your email if you like. You don't have to. And if you click on any of the links for products and things, those are Amazon links, so I'll get a small commission on any of the things you might purchase using those links. Also, if you think I'm doing anything on this channel that's worthy of financial support, you think you'd like to help me out, keep this channel going and me producing videos for everybody, please head over to my Patreon channel and give me a $5 a month membership. There will be additional perks for that membership coming up. I know I keep promising that, but do it. And I truly do appreciate it because you guys are the best for helping me out. So thank you very much. I'll see you in the next video.